Hello world, how are you doing out there? Hope you're doing better. Well, I'm doing okay, but you can be doing better than me too. Today I was helping my mother recently had to move in with my sister because of advancing age, and my other sister and I were helping to clean out her house where she just like lived forever. And when my stepfather was still around, and they had tons of stuff going back to the last ice age. And I found this: information for emergencies, how to survive nuclear war. And I thought I need to really share this with YouTube because it's very important, especially in these dangerous and trying days. This is really interesting. The British had something similar to it called the Protect and Survive Manual. Now these, I went through them quick. They don't seem to be as exciting as that one. I mean, that one talked about what to do with dead bodies and stuff. But these, I don't think so. Let's go through them. The first thing we're going to learn is about facts about fallout. Facts about fallout protection. Fallout. Fallout is tiny pieces of dust and debris which are made radioactive by nuclear explosions. But, you know, there's no need to worry, because radioactivity is nothing new. The whole world is radioactive. Now, these are real things. These are from the United States Department of Agriculture. I really don't know when, just from the appearances, probably late 50s, early 60s. I really don't know. So we're going to read this. Look, you can seldom feel it. Often you can't see it. And look, they still use Conalrad, which I think was before they just shortened it to rad. It could kill you, but not really. I mean, it can. Not if you take precautions. Look, if you arrange a basement and put sandbags, and look at a little brick wall. I mean, you people living in Seattle, I mean, if Kim Jong-un lobs bombs, you just need a couple of bricks. Learn. Wow. Remember, be prepared. And do as much of this as you can now. Let me see. The Family Fallout Shelter. The shelter should have space, food and water, and equipment. And, you know, reading this, I mean, I don't know if you play any of the Fallout games. I do, and this is like, this could be like collector's material for Fallout. Okay, let's try the other one. This is a good one. 10 for survival. Survive a nuclear attack. It's easy. I mean, look, the United States government put this out. It's possible. Oh, what's this? Between you and disaster. What will we get? Face the facts. A 20 megaton explosion on the surface of Earth can kill most people and destroy most buildings within a 5-mile radius of ground zero. A total of about 80 square miles. So you just need to get farther away than 5 miles. The most likely targets are big cities, industrial areas, and military centers. You should know about the three main things. Three main destructive effects of nuke explosion: heat, blast, and fallout. The heat can go out, well, what goes out 20 miles? Oh, a 20 megaton explosion could kill an unshielded man 20 miles away. It could blister and cripple the bodies of unsheltered people well beyond that. Look, this guy. But this guy was smart because he hid behind a brick wall. And no, he's in a niche. And so he survived. What you should do. Beyond the 5-mile radius of total destruction, they don't tell you what to do if you're inside it. Because, well, we all know that wherever you are, you just bend over and kiss it goodbye. Beyond the 5-mile radius of total destruction, but still within the range of immediate killing power, you would have split seconds to save your life. You would have to act with instinctive speed to take cover with whatever was at hand. So, in open country, lie face down. Look at, so like a nuclear bomb goes off. Lie face down and stay there until the heat and blast waves are past. Really, because nothing will happen to you. Nothing's going to be like blowing over you or smashing on top of you, or, you know, just, it's a little heat and blast. I mean, come on. You probably get hit more by a heavy wind in Arizona or something. In the city, it might be a wall or a building or even a truck. Anyone who's played a Fallout game knows not to hide behind a truck. Indoors, it would be the floor. Behind furniture, it's close to an inside wall. It's not a tornado. But, you know, okay. Fallout. Protection from fallout. The basement concrete block shelter. Designed as a do-it-yourself project. Solid concrete blocks are used to build it. Wow. And let's see what else. Of course, we all have a tumulus in our backyard that we can dig into. You know, they've got these things in Ireland and in other parts of the Celtic world, these giant mounds. Well, of course, we've all got them in our backyard, don't we? Shelter in apartment buildings. Apartment buildings generally provide more fallout protection than houses. They don't tell you that in the games. So, you know, let me see. Under the National Plan for Civil Defense and Defense Mobilization, published in October 1958, that gives us a date for this stuff, it is aiding local defense organizations in sampling survey of city residential, commercial, and industrial shelters to determine how many people they will shelter. That was a quick survey. It's like, oh, damn. How will you know if you are in a fallout area? Conelrad will be, it's a radio station. I'm sorry. I said that earlier. It's Conelrad, I guess, was some sort of a radio, like the emergency broadcast system. Okay. Sorry. I thought that was a boo-boo. Conelrad will be your main source of information on fallout and protective measures you might take. This is the national system of emergency broadcasting that goes into effect when a commander... Oh, I forgot. I really should get in the costume if I'm talking to you guys about this. There. Now I'm properly attired to talk to you guys about how to evade and survive. Okay, the commander of the North American Air Defense Command determines an air attack is imminent. How long will you have to stay in the shelter? Well, my character in Fallout was 210 years. OCDM as a program, blah, blah, blah. They don't say how long. Oh, radiation from fallout decreases in time. See that? Nothing to worry about. Also, it is not possible to know in advance what the amount of fallout or dose rate you will be given. Please, could you tell us when you nuke us till we glow how much we are going to get? Oh, a minimum of 2 weeks. That is the minimum of stored food you're supposed to have on hand to survive in your little concrete and brick shelter under your house. Or in your mound, if you have one of those. If you think you have fallout on you, discard your outer garments. Wash exposed parts of your body. Wash and peel unpackaged food. What? Wash and peel unpackaged food. Oh, I guess like raw potatoes and stuff. Prepare now for living in the shelter. Oh, now we're getting into Vault-Tec stuff. Vault-Tec, better living underground. The national plan calls on everyone to have a minimum 14-day supply. I've not been recording all this time. Oh, no, I have been. Sorry. I was about to get upset. I'm going to have to cut that out. The national plan calls on everyone to have a minimum 14-day supply of food and water, since, except for very brief departures from your shelter, you could be pinned down longer than 2 weeks. However, as in all planning for emergency, it is best to plan for the worst. It is possible that in instances local officials could not supply all the people in a jurisdiction. It's possible. I mean, it won't really happen because they won't let you starve, but it's possible that some places might actually be a little disturbed by a thermonuclear exchange. You should know where to find safe water, how to turn off water surface valves, how to purify water. You know how to purify water? What foods to store and how to prepare them, what foods are unsafe, how to dispose of garbage, how to dispose of human waste, how to make soil bags. But again, they're not going as far as that Protect and Survive manual that was like, if Granny dies in the shelter, just put a toe tag on her and chuck her out the door real quick. Okay, well, that's interesting. That's one diddy boy. Let's see about you. We're going to continue on with more Fallout protection. What to know and do about it. What can you do about a nuclear attack? We're going to do it. How to survive attack and live for your country's recovery. That is totally out of Fallout people, let's copy these. Because, of course, Vault-Tec needs you. This hat's hot. I'm starting to sweat under it. Words to know. A-bomb and H-bomb. Kiloton, megaton, ground zero, fireball. Some basic facts. Damage of firestorms. Radiation in the air. A nuclear explosion. First, the blast. Goes out 10 miles. Look at that. Only 10 miles. After that, probable reaction to disaster. Community shelters. Experience in World War II in Europe and other human experiences under disaster conditions have pointed to distinct advantages of the community or neighborhood fallout shelter when compared to the family shelter. Actually, I just read a book about the Battle of Britain, and it was usually the other way around, that people were better off in individual shelters, mainly because when large-scale shelters were hit or penetrated, the death toll was much higher than it would have been if, like, 2 or 3 Anderson shelters would have got hit. I have that book. It's not the Battle of Britain. Something. It's a recent book I got about the events that time. So, yeah. Of course, there was that case where the subway... Oh, never mind. Okay. A model public shelter, community shelter. Oh, look at this wonderful place. They're going to build this built-in shelter in new structures. Look, it's like a city underground, and you got probably a mall in there. Look at Christmas tree and little people. Look at how many people can fit in there. It's like a wonderful vault. It is. It's a vault, and that's where people are going to live during the nuclear attack. I wonder if they actually built any of these. Oh, yeah, I know. All you guys that say Alternative 21 and all that, it's already out there in Dulce and stuff. But you know, so they could be out there, but they're probably not going to use them for this. A city building provides fallout protection. Look, if you're in a city and it gets hit by an atomic bomb, all you have to do is go into a building and hang out, because nothing will happen. You know, there'll just be some heat and wind, and then you just hang out. A city building provides fallout protection. After a nuclear attack, a tall apartment or office building 10 miles or more from an explosion could be one of the safest places for refugees. Because gamma rays given off by fallout penetrate much like X-rays, the people taking shelter in the building, shown on the opposite page, must put on as much mass of material as possible between themselves and the particles. How much would you need to put on to stop gamma rays? I'm not a science major. I didn't study too much science, but something tells me you really have to layer to not get a burn from gamma rays. Family shelters. Look at this little happy family. They're in their shelter. There's some sandbags. They've got this little thing that probably slide up to look out, and a little smokestack. I wonder if people actually built these. Well, I know they did. They actually did. And look, they're using cinder blocks here. Probably because they were told they would absorb it. Let us continue. Wow, this is a fancy one. Oh, cook yourself. Yeah, they use these in Waco. We know what happened there. These turned into human ovens. It's probably what would have happened if you were sheltering in here and a nuclear blast went up above you. Slow roasted goodness, as Postal Dude says. Sorry. A plan, but no time. Your first warning of a nuclear attack could be the flash of the explosion. Don't look at it! As it says right there. Don't look at it. Quick action during the next few seconds could save your life. If you are inside, dive under and behind the nearest desk, table, sofa, or other piece of sturdy furniture. Try to get in the shadow. If you have no basement, you can improvise a shelter by digging a trench next to a house. It's World War I. Pile the dirt and for as much radiation shielding as possible. Dirt and heavy objects, radiation shielding. Kind of like in that last Indiana Jones film when he hid in the refrigerator from the atomic bomb. By the way, he's Indy. He can survive anything. Okay, let's continue. Shelter supplies. Okay, all sorts of things. Look what you need. You need food and eating utensils and bedding and clothes and all sorts of things. You especially need your civil defense instruction manual. What is this, boots? Oh, bottles and nipples? Kinky. Well, I guess kinky in the after attack. Battery-powered radio with aerial. Dose meter. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's go. Emergency housekeeping. Water. It is more vital than food. Well, yeah. I mean, especially in survival mode, humans can live on a quart of water or other fluid a day, but an allowance of a gallon is far more comfortable. Oh, yeah. Okay. Radiation meters. Ventilation. Oh, yeah, first aid. Control of bleeding. Look, this guy, he's pretending he's out of it, so he finally gets a kiss. Ooh, good plan, good plan. Okay, baby. Splinting, bandaging a burn. Oh, what was that show they made? I mean, we had it in ours called The Day After, but the British made a show that was even more grisly. Oh, what was it called? I mean, it was so horrible that, people were having, emotional breakdowns after watching it. Control of vermin. Oh, no, they're talking about your, whichever party you don't like, they're talking about them right here. I mean, I make my jokes kind of cover both sides. Getting rid of fallout. Oh, paved areas can be decontaminated with fire hoses or street flushers. So you just wash it off. All you have to do is just kind of wash it off. Look at first steps to recovery. Look at, this is after a nuclear attack. And these guys are out there washing the sidewalk. Look at the flag still flies. The flag. And then look at, and everything is, and look at these buildings are still there. And these glasses are still there. And the cars are fine. It's just got a light dusting of 10 megaton, 20 megaton. And all you have to do is go out there and spray it down a little bit. They look like they're playing hockey. On a farm. If you live on a farm, okay, you should place as much of your livestock and produce in barns as you can, so it'll all burn at once. Milk from cows that have grazed in contaminated pastures would be radioactive, but in the absence of other food in an emergency, it can be used. You get rats, turn into a ghoul. Organizing for civil defense. More information is available. All right, let's see what else they got in here. Emergency sanitation at home. What do they mean? Look how they have the granny. This is the granny that gets thrown out of the shelter in the British version. Because if she dies, you just put a toe tag on her and lob her body out. So that, it doesn't start doing what bodies do after you die. Yeah, the British version, I wish I had that one. It's a lot more fun to make fun of. It's grisly. You must have safe drinking water. Store drinking water carefully. Sources of liquids. Oh, interesting. How to shut off the water service valve in your home. Wonder why that was such a big deal. Shut the valve. Try the valve to make sure it was free. Leave tool. Blah 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 blah. I guess just so it's not going off. Or how to purify your drinking water. Boiling, chlorination. The 4 methods of purification. But it's only to be done by the lady of the house while she's wearing her house frock. See that skirt? She looks like a maid from a Japanese maid cafe. Yeah, just like I need to wear my hat. She needs to wear this when she does the water purification. It's very important. Purification tablets, chlorination, boiling, and iodine. Actually, a lot of stuff in here actually is really handy survival. I mean, I took a survival class once. I was trained for survival long ago when I was young. These actually are things that you can do. Like, if you're in the forest, iodine, if you've got iodine or boiling, if you have time. Purification tablets, as long as there's not junks in there. If you got it out to the lake. Chlorination. I mean, a lot of this is actually good advice, but I'm just making fun of it because for a nuclear attack, we're pretty much, especially the size of nuclear weapons they even had in these days, not even nowadays with our MIRVs and all that, you're just toast. What you should store for your baby and for invalids. Well, this is a bedpan. So, I could use that. I wouldn't have to get up and go to the bathroom when I'm playing my games. Out of doors cooking. For proper sewage disposal, you will need tightly closed can for emergency stores of bodily waste. Shovel. Yeah, but I can't read through all this. So don't do that too far away from your camps. Well, far away from the campsite. Oh, well, it's in here. This is just a general handbook of emergencies. I guess this packet was full of other stuff, like firefighting for householders. So, they don't all have to do with a nuclear attack. This one does. Warbling tone or short blast for 3 minutes means attack imminent. Conelrad instructions. Oh, I didn't know that was a radio. See, you learn something new every day. Stoppage of breathing, first aid, disaster know-how. Distance. Since fallout arrives sooner and is more intense close to the bombers, your distance from explosion is an important safety factor. If local authorities determine that evacuation of your area is practical, you will be so instructed by the proper authorities. And they're probably, well, I don't know if they wear a hat like this. I just found this, but, they're probably wearing a hat. You better be wearing a hat because, you look official if you're wearing a hat. Once again, decontamination. The guy is on his tractor decontaminating, I guess, and the woman is in her house frock with an apron, vacuuming up the fallout. Because you vacuum it up and then stick your hand in it and throw it out. But there's nothing wrong. And then this guy back here is having a shower. And even in cartoon form, he's got a nice little thing to hide his bits. Oh, you will notice, though, she is still wearing stylish shoes. Probably some sort of flats. She's certainly not barefoot. You think? I don't know. Leadership. Vault-Tec wants you. Civil defense responsibilities should be assigned to city and county officials and employees as part of their day-to-day work. Okay, let's continue. Shelter, evacuation. Well, I wish I had one of these to evacuate in. I bet it's a 57 T-Bird or something. Boy, that would be worth a thing. And look at schools. Schools are evacuating. All right, let's continue. Well, firefighting for householders, probably not too exciting. Firefighting for householders. PB4 public booklet. How bombs cause fire. A-bombs and H-bombs, besides causing direct radiation and radioactive fallout, are both super explosive and fire bombs on a larger scale. I see. Well, they're trying to relate back to what most of these people that saw this just went through World War II about 10 years before. So they're trying to kind of make them think, World War II, they had the fire bombs and all that. But people survived. It was fine. Well, yeah, it was. But not for the 100,000 people in the cities that were hit. Okay. But they don't mention that. That if that many died for conventional, and never mind. Okay, we can expect an enemy to use these nuclear weapons against us in time of war because they can do the greatest amount of damage with the least number of planes. And that's an interesting statement because they're using planes to deliver the bombs. We had the B-52s, they had the Tupolev Tu-64s, but usually it's going to be an ICBM, a missile. The first effect of a nuclear bomb is a heat flash. The heat flash that comes from it lasts only about 3 seconds. So yeah, it only lasts 3 seconds. Of course, it's got the power of a hurricane, trebled, quadrupled, bazillioned, and can go through anything, and it's got gamma rays with it. But anyway, it is also long enough to burn people unless they are protected from the flash. Right in the heels of the flash comes the blast wave, which causes fires by knocking down chimneys, wrecking heaters, and breaking electric wires and gas pipes. What kind of bombs that they have? It's just gonna, if you have a chimney in your house, it might knock it over a little bit. Incendiary bombs burn when they hit. High explosive bombs cause fire indirectly But that's not what they're doing. I guess they're just talking about. Okay. Yeah, a lot of this seems to be recycled from World War II. Make sure your heating plant is safe. Heating plant. Store fluids carefully. The other people talked about that. Fire needs fuel and heat to burn. So take away the fuel, take away the air, and take away the heat. I like this graphic of a wet rug will smother it with fire. I don't know what's being smothered there. The cat, the dog, Aunt Doris. I mean, it looks kind of questionable. Continue. Remove fire hazards. Firefighting tips. Know how to rescue an unconscious person. I guess if you're not strong enough for a firefighter's lift, or if you have to stay down near the ground, that was never mentioned to me in any of my training. I mean, the casual training I got when I took some medical training, and also a long time ago, kind of paramilitary. Well, it was ROTC. But anyway, they never mentioned this one. Maybe they don't do it anymore. I mean, you could do it, I guess, in an emergency. Look, and here's the old, I'm climbing out of my mistress's window on a sheet. I hear you don't really want to do that, because most sheets will probably just break or rip. Know how to fight a magnesium bomb. But I thought this was for, I guess, just general attack, And it shows a guy, I guess he's hiding behind something and spraying it. You don't want to spray a magnesium bomb because it just spreads it about. It's like a napalm. Maybe he's throwing foam on it. Kill the flame. Oh, you might have to deal with incendiary bombs, especially magnesium bombs like those that caused so much damage to cities in World War II. This type makes a lot of smoke, so keep close to the floor when fighting it. Cat Mannering. Okay. To all employees from the United States Department of Agriculture to all employees of the USDA. And it's signed by Joseph M. Robertson, Administrative Assistant Secretary. I wonder if I could Google that guy real quick. Then we can get some idea as to what time this is going on. Well, that we have, but roughly. Let me Google it. I will ask the almighty knowing wiki. Okay, that's weird. Joseph M. Robertson. Oh, he's nobody. I mean, he's an administrative... Oh, somebody. Poor guy is so forgotten that there's nothing for him. I mean, there's all these hits, but they're for, like, this... There's a mugshot. There's this guy in a suit. There's some kid, some young guy with the hat on backwards. Okay. Well, I guess you can try to find him on your own if you want to know when this stuff is from. Oh, let's turn off the wiki. Bye-bye. The food storage program. Between you and disaster. Your pantry should be ready. Your reserve food supply. Milk, juices, fruits, vegetables, soups, meats, and meat substitutes. Cereals, crackers and cookies, beverages, instant coffee. That's what I need. So there's my survival plan. Soft drinks, 24 bottles. Soft drinks. No beer or soft drinks in a survival kit. I'm sorry. It dehydrates you. The sugar, the caffeine, and then beer, alcohol. I know it's the stuff that makes life worth living. But in a survival situation, you would not want that. Because you would just dry out too fast. It makes you pee and stuff. I know it's tragedy. Here are some other essential supplies. Water and jugs. Water and jugs. Oh, water and jugs. Sorry, I was about to tell a dirty joke. Matches, portable radio. Oh, look. Look what it says to put in here to survive. The Bible or other family religious requirements. That's interesting. So, I guess, keep faith while you're underground in that metal tube getting cooked. Oh, here's a list of the Civil Defense publications. Home protection exercises. Oh, what's that? Family fallout shelter, we saw that one. Energy emergency sanitation at home, I think that was over there. Facts about fallout protection, first aid emergency kit, individual and family preparedness, firefighting for householders. That, yeah, we had that. Okay, let's continue. Oh man, so I think that's all that survived to 2017. And once again, I just thought I'd share this with you. Actually, a lot of it is good advice for survival if you're lost in the woods or something like that. I mean, you know, there's a lot of like the boiling the water and having goods and dry goods. I mean, it's actually good advice. But, you know, if Portland gets hit by a 15 megaton bomb or however big they are these days, you know, you're toast. You're toast. Okay. But luckily, we're not toast today. And I hope you enjoyed this little show and tell, and I will hopefully see you all later. Thank you very much for watching.